Hello, welcome to Christian World for Bedtime. Have you ever felt that the world is changing in a frightening way, that the signs around us seem to point to something bigger? In this video, we will reveal 100 biblical prophecies that have recently been fulfilled and left experts speechless. From political events to natural phenomena that science cannot fully explain, you will discover how the Word of God is alive and manifests itself before our eyes. This content will strengthen your faith, open your eyes to current times, and prepare you spiritually for what is to come. Leave your amen in the comments if you believe in the power of biblical prophecies. Stay with me, relax, adjust the sound, and let's begin. Just imagine, a nation that disappeared from the map for 2,000 whole years, 2 millennia, and suddenly in the blink of an eye rises like a phoenix from the ashes. Sounds like a movie script, doesn't it? But it's real. In 1948, the world watched in astonishment as the State of Israel was born. Ezekiel prophesied this more than 2,500 years ago, saying that God would gather his people back to the Promised Land. And look, we're not talking about just any people, but a group scattered across the 4 corners of the planet, who maintained their cultural identity even without their own territory. No historian can point to another similar case in the history of humanity. The Romans destroyed Jerusalem in 70 AD, scattered the Jews throughout the world, and yet almost 2,000 years later, Israel returned to the map. Coincidence? Skeptics call it that, but those who know the scriptures know that this was written, detailed, predicted. And when you stop to think about it, it's truly breathtaking. But the story doesn't end there. The prophecy didn't just say that Israel would exist again. Isaiah and Jeremiah were even more specific. The Jews would return from the east and the west, from the north and the south, from all parts of the earth. And that's exactly what happened. Dark-skinned Ethiopian Jews, the Falashas, were rescued in thrilling air operations in the 1980s and 90s. Iranian Jews fled Islamic persecution. Russians arrived by the thousands after the fall of the Soviet Union. Moroccans, Yemenis, Argentinians, Brazilians, people from more than 140 different countries converging on a small strip of land in the Middle East. It's as if God activated an invisible magnet that drew his people back home. Today, you can walk the streets of Tel Aviv or Jerusalem and hear accents from every continent. It's prophecy becoming reality before our very eyes, my friend. Simply extraordinary. And there's one more thing that leaves even linguists speechless: the resurrection of Hebrew. Think about it. When was the last time you heard of a dead language used only in ancient religious texts being spoken again in the streets, in markets, in schools? Never, right? Hebrew had been dead for almost 2,000 years. It was like Latin. Nobody spoke it at home anymore, only scholars read it from dusty scrolls. But Zephaniah prophesied that God would give the people pure lips to call upon his name. And in 1948, when Israel was reborn, Hebrew was declared an official language. Today, more than 9 million people speak Hebrew fluently as their mother tongue. Israeli children grow up singing, playing, and dreaming in Hebrew. Eliezer ben Yehuda, the father of modern Hebrew, transformed this prophecy into practical reality, creating thousands of new words for modern concepts. Computer in Hebrew, machshev. Ice cream, slide. It's simply incredible. Now let's talk about Jerusalem, the most contested city in human history. Jesus prophesied in Luke 21:24 that Jerusalem would be trampled by the Gentiles, that is, by non-Jews, until their times were fulfilled. And that's exactly what happened. Since 70 AD, when the Romans destroyed the temple and expelled the Jews, Jerusalem passed through Byzantine, Arab, Crusader, Ottoman, British hands, always under Gentile control. But in June 1967, during the Six-Day War, Israeli soldiers entered through the Lion's Gate, and for the first time in 1,897 years, Jerusalem was back under Jewish control. The images are moving, soldiers crying, kissing the ancient stones of the Western Wall, unable to believe they were there. Military Rabbi Shlomo Goren sounded the shofar before the wall, announcing the prophetic era. It was a moment that divided history, and all of this was foretold in the pages of Scripture. The Western Wall, that structure of giant stones you've seen in photos, is the last remnant of the Second Jewish Temple. For centuries, Jews around the world prayed facing that direction, dreaming of one day touching its stones. But it was inaccessible, guarded by foreign forces. The Psalms and Lamentations of Israel expressed this deep pain of being far from the holiest place. Then came 1967, and suddenly, after almost 2 millennia, Jews could finally return to the wall. The scenes of that day are heartbreaking. War-hardened soldiers melting into tears, elders kneeling in prayer, young people kissing the stones. Today, millions visit the wall annually, placing written prayers on paper between its cracks. It's a place where heaven seems to touch earth. And this, my friend, didn't happen by chance. It was prophesied that this day would come, and it doesn't stop there. Jerusalem is not just a reconquered city. It has been officially declared the capital of Israel. Isaiah and Micah prophesied that from Jerusalem would come the law and the word of the Lord, that it would once again be the spiritual and political center of the Jewish people. In 1980, Israel passed the Jerusalem Law, officially establishing the city as its eternal and indivisible capital. Of course, this generated international controversy, but in 2017, the United States formally recognized Jerusalem as the capital, moving its embassy there from Tel Aviv. Other countries followed suit. Today, the Knesset, the Israeli parliament, operates in Jerusalem, as does the residence of the Prime Minister. Jerusalem has once again become the beating heart of Israel, exactly as the prophecies foretold. It is the literal fulfillment of texts written more than 2,500 years ago. Coincidence? Not at all. Now pay attention to this. Isaiah prophesied that the desert would bloom like a rose, that the desolate land would be transformed into a garden. When the first Zionists arrived in Palestine at the end of the 19th century, they found an arid desert, malaria rampant in the swamps, unproductive land. Mark Twain visited the region in 1867 and described it as a desolate land whose soil is rich enough but wholly given over to weeds, a silent and gloomy expanse. But look at Israel today. The Negev desert, which covers 60% of the country, is full of farms, vineyards, and drip irrigation technology that the whole world copies. Israel exports flowers, fruits, and vegetables. They literally make the desert bloom. They have planted more than 240 million trees since 1948. There are entire forests where before there was only sand. It's prophecy becoming landscape, my friend. You can visit and see it with your own eyes. And speaking of flourishing, Israel didn't just sprout agriculture. It sprouted cutting-edge technology. Although there's no explicit prophecy about it, Isaiah speaks of the prosperity and knowledge that would flow from Jerusalem to the nations. Today, Israel is called the startup nation. With only 9 million inhabitants, it has more technology companies on the NASDAQ than any country outside the US. They invented technologies you use every day: USB flash drives, cherry tomatoes, irrigation systems, Waze, colonoscopy capsules, Intel chips. The world's largest technology companies, Google, Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, have research centers in Israel. Israeli universities produce innovations that save lives globally. From a desolate desert emerged a technological powerhouse. It's almost as if the blessing promised to Abraham, "In you all the families of the earth shall be blessed," is being fulfilled through Israeli innovation. And here's a fascinating detail. Zephaniah prophesied that God would purify the lips of the peoples, a reference interpreted by many as the restoration of Hebrew. Today, it's not just that Hebrew is spoken. Entire generations born in Israel grow up naturally speaking the language. 5-year-old children play in Hebrew in playgrounds. Teenagers date in Hebrew. Writers publish bestsellers in Hebrew. It's surreal when you stop to think about it. A biblical language used by Moses, David, and Isaiah, now discussing TikTok, pizza, and artificial intelligence. It's ancient tradition meeting modernity. And there's more. Unlike other countries where immigrants maintain their mother tongues for generations, in Israel, Hebrew has become the great unifier. Russian, Ethiopian, and Moroccan Jews, who previously shared no language, now converse naturally in Hebrew. It's social prophecy becoming linguistic reality. But it's not all roses, of course. Israel has been surrounded by enemies since day one. Psalm 83 describes exactly that. nations around conspiring to wipe Israel off the map. And that's literally what happened and continues to happen. In 1948, the day after the Declaration of Independence, 5 Arab armies attacked simultaneously. 1956, 1967, 1973, wars where Israel was clearly outnumbered, but won almost miraculously. In the Six-Day War of 1967, Israel faced Egypt, Jordan, and Syria simultaneously and won in less than a week, tripling its territory. In 1973, during Yom Kippur, the holiest Jewish day, they were attacked by surprise and still managed to reverse the situation. Conflicts with Hezbollah, Hamas, threats from Iran, Israel remains against all odds. Ezekiel 38-39 speaks of nations gathering against Israel in the last days. Look at the news today. It continues to happen. Zechariah was even more specific. He said that Jerusalem would be a cup of trembling for all peoples and a heavy stone that would injure all who tried to move it. Man, that's exactly what we see. Jerusalem is the most explosive issue in international politics. Any decision about it causes a global diplomatic crisis. When Trump recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, protests erupted in dozens of countries. The UN has more resolutions condemning Israel than all other countries combined. It's disproportionate, obsessive. Much larger nations with much worse problems receive a fraction of the attention. Why? Because Jerusalem is prophetically significant. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict seems unsolvable. Everything has been tried: agreements, mediations, concessions. But Jerusalem remains that heavy stone that no one can move. Its prophecy unfolding before the CNN cameras. And notice, when Jews began returning to Israel in the late 19th century and intensely after the Holocaust, they came speaking dozens of different languages. German Jews spoke Yiddish and German. Moroccan Jews spoke Arabic and French. Russians spoke Russian. Ethiopians spoke Amharic. Isaiah 66:8 rhetorically asks, "Shall a nation be born at once?" and mentions this miraculous gathering. Today you can go to any synagogue in Jerusalem and hear prayers in Russian, French, American, Brazilian accents. It's a Tower of Babel in reverse. While in Babel God confused languages and scattered humanity, in Israel he is gathering languages and restoring a people. There are entire communities that maintain culinary traditions from their countries of origin. Russians with their blinis, Moroccans with tagine, Yemenis with jakhnun. It is diversity united by a common identity. Israel's population explosion is also impressive. Isaiah prophesied that the land would say, "This place is too small for me. Depart from me, that I may dwell in it," indicating population growth that is too rapid for the infrastructure to keep up with. In 1948, Israel had about 600,000 inhabitants. Today it exceeds 9 million, a growth of 1,500% in just 76 years. It is one of the fastest population growths in the world, and it's not just immigration. Israel has one of the highest birth rates among developed countries. Israeli families tend to be large, with 3, 4, or 5 children being common. The prophecy speaks of a land that cannot accommodate everyone, and that is exactly what we see. A housing crisis, frenetic construction, and constant urban expansion. Tel Aviv became a modern metropolis in less than a century. It is prophetic growth at high speed. And there's something curious. Micah prophesied about Bethlehem, saying that although it is small, something of eternal importance would come from it: the Messiah. This establishes a pattern, small in size but gigantic in significance. Israel is geographically tiny, the size of New Jersey, smaller than the state of Sergipe in Brazil. But think of the influence. 3 major religions claim Jerusalem as sacred. Israeli technology is in billions of devices. Political decisions in Israel affect global markets. The entire Bible unfolds there. It's disproportionate in every way. A nation so small that you cross it from end to end in a few hours, but which constantly dominates international headlines. It's the small but mighty pattern that the scriptures establish. David versus Goliath on a national scale. Jeremiah prophesied something interesting. The woman will surround the man, an enigmatic phrase that many interpret as women having a prominent role in the restoration. And look at Israel today. Women serve in the army. one of the few nations where this is mandatory. Hold high-ranking political positions. Golda Meir was prime minister in the 1970s. Lead technology companies and universities. Israeli women are known for being strong, assertive, and entrepreneurial. Israeli culture values women's contributions in a way that is unusual in the Middle East. Of course, there are still inequalities, as everywhere. But compared to the region, Israel stands out. You see young female soldiers patrolling with rifles, female engineers developing cutting-edge software, and scientists winning international awards. Social prophecy manifesting itself through increasing equality. Luke recorded Jesus saying that Jerusalem would be trampled by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. This establishes a definite deadline, a determined period. Theologians debate exactly what this means, but historically it is clear. From 70 AD until 1967, Jerusalem was under non-Jewish control. That's exactly 1,097 years. Romans, then Byzantines, then Muslims, various dynasties, Christian Crusaders briefly, Ottoman Turks for 400 years, and finally British until 1948. Even after Israeli independence, the Old City and the Temple Mount remained Jordanian until 1967. When Israel retook Jerusalem in the Six-Day War, many saw it as the prophetic end of the Gentile era. It was a landmark not only politically, but eschatologically. The prophetic clock struck a loud blow on that June day, and when they returned, it was with overflowing joy. Isaiah and Jeremiah speak of jubilation, songs, celebrations. And that's exactly the atmosphere in Israel. Every year on Independence Day, Yom Ha'atzmaut, the entire country stops to celebrate with fireworks, barbecues, and street dances. There are military parades, shows, and children painting Israeli flags on their cheeks. It's a genuine national celebration. Even with all the challenges, conflicts, terrorism, tensions, Israelis intensely celebrate their existence. It's almost as if they know deep down that they are part of something bigger, something prophetic. You feel this energy walking through Jerusalem at Passover, or in Tel Aviv during Pride, or on the beaches of Eilat in the summer. It's a people who have returned home and never tire of giving thanks for it. Prophetic joy in the form of a celebration. Ezekiel was even more detailed. He prophesied that the desolate land would be cultivated, that it would become like the Garden of Eden. And it's not just agriculture. Israel has massively reforested. The Jerusalem forest, for example, has millions of trees planted by volunteers from all over the world. The Jewish National Fund, KKL-JNF, has been coordinating tree planting for over a century. You can even adopt a tree in Israel online. National parks have been created and fauna and flora protected. Species that had disappeared have been reintroduced. Gazelles, ibex, even eagles. There are programs for the reintroduction of biblical animals. The very word paradise comes from the Persian for walled garden, and Israel has literally transformed desert into paradise. You can visit Ein Gedi, an oasis on the Dead Sea, and understand what ancient prophets envisioned, life sprouting where before there was only death. And pay attention to this. Isaiah prophesied that the law will go forth from Jerusalem, suggesting that Gentile nations would turn to Israel. Today, about 20% of the Israeli population is not Jewish. They are Israeli Arabs, Muslims and Christians, Druze, Circassians, Bedouins. They live side by side, sometimes with tension, but it is a multicultural society. Israeli Arabs vote, serve in government positions. There are Arab judges on the Supreme Court and have representation in the Knesset. Druze serve in the Israeli army voluntarily and play a heroic role in many conflicts. It's not perfect. There is discrimination, problems, but it is remarkably diverse for such a conflict-ridden region. It is a prophecy of coexistence manifesting itself, even if imperfect. Jews and Gentiles literally living, working, and studying together in the Promised Land. And finally, in the first section, Israel is internationally recognized. Isaiah speaks of Israel being a witness among the nations, serving as a light to the Gentiles. Since 1949, Israel has been a full member of the UN. It has embassies and diplomatic relations with more than 160 countries. Recently, through the Abraham Accords 2020, It normalized relations with the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Sudan, and Morocco, Arab countries that for decades refused any recognition. This is a tectonic shift in the geopolitics of the Middle East. Israel has gone from a regional pariah to a commercial and technological partner. Tourists from all over the world visit, more than 4 million per year before the pandemic. It is impossible to ignore Israel on the global stage. A nation that did not exist 76 years ago is now an indispensable international player. A prophecy of recognition is being fulfilled before our very eyes. Now let's change the subject, but it's still prophecy. Daniel had an impressive vision about the last days. He wrote that knowledge will increase, and man, that has never been more true. Just think, until the Industrial Revolution, human knowledge took centuries to double. Today it doubles every 12-18 months according to IBM. It's an exponential explosion. We have access to more information on our smartphones than medieval kings had in their entire lives. The internet contains practically all accumulated human knowledge. 10-year-olds research things that would confound ancient sages. Universities publish millions of papers annually. Medicine, quantum physics, genetics, astronomy, fields advancing at breakneck speed. It's literally what Daniel saw. Knowledge multiplying in a way never seen before. And notice he wrote this 2,500 years ago, at a time when knowledge advanced slowly, but he prophesied this exact era. Daniel also said that many will run from one place to another, something that has confused interpreters for centuries. But now it makes perfect sense. Humanity has never moved so much. You can wake up in São Paulo, have lunch in New York, have dinner in London, all in 24 hours. Planes constantly crisscross the planet. Japanese bullet trains reach 600 km/h. Elon Musk wants to take people to Mars. In 1800, international travel took months by ship and was rare. Today, billions of passengers fly annually. Tourism is a gigantic industry. People move from country to country as easily as they move from neighborhood to neighborhood. Executives hold meetings on 3 continents in the same week. It's a literal global constant rush. Daniel saw this in a vision and must have been confused. How could people run like that? But now we understand. It's aviation, automobiles, trains. Transportation prophecy fulfilled. And think about instant communication. John in Revelation describes scenes where all tribes, languages, and nations see events simultaneously. How would that have been possible in the first century? Impossible. But today, routine. When the Pope makes a pronouncement, billions watch live via satellite. When an earthquake happens in Japan, you know in real time in Brazil. YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok live streams transmit instantly to the entire world. The World Cup is watched by half the global population simultaneously. That's exactly what John described, without having the concept of television, internet, or satellites. He simply saw the vision and recorded it, everyone seeing at the same time. Today, this is so normal that we don't even think about it. But it's a technological prophecy being fulfilled. John was describing live transmission without knowing what it was. And check this out, data in the cloud. The book of Revelation mentions angels with clouds, books being opened, information flowing from the heavens. Of course, it's symbolic language, but it's fascinating how it resonates with cloud computing. Today, your data isn't on your computer. It's in the cloud, on servers you never see, somewhere on the planet. You access photos, documents, music by downloading from the cloud. It's modern vocabulary echoing ancient apocalyptic language. Google Drive, iCloud, Dropbox, all clouds. Of course, the original prophecy has spiritual meaning, but the modern metaphor is intriguing. It's as if the ancient language already anticipated concepts that would only make sense 2,000 years later. Information flowing invisibly, stored in a place we don't see, instantly accessible. It's a literal cloud. Cameras everywhere also fulfill prophecies about everyone seeing and surveillance. The apocalypse describes the whole world witnessing specific events, such as the death of 2 witnesses in Jerusalem. How would everyone see? Today, it's obvious. Cameras. There are billions of security cameras on the planet. London has over 600,000 in the city alone. Your smartphone has 2 or 3 cameras. Drones film from above. Satellites capture high-resolution images from any point on Earth. It's practically impossible to do anything without being filmed. Protests, crimes, events, everything recorded and transmitted instantly. George Orwell wrote 1984, imagining a total surveillance society, but he remained conservative. Reality has surpassed fiction. And John saw this 1,700 years before Orwell, prophecy of visual omnipresence. Artificial intelligence is perhaps the most frightening fulfillment. Revelation 13 speaks of an image of the beast that speaks, thinks, and even kills those who do not worship it. For centuries, this was incomprehensible. An image that speaks. How? But today, AI not only speaks, it makes decisions. Algorithms decide who receives bank loans, who is imprisoned, facial recognition, what news you see, personalized feeds, even who dates whom, dating apps. Chatbots converse in an increasingly human way. Deepfakes create fake videos indistinguishable from reality. AI writes texts, composes music, paints pictures. OpenAI has created systems that pass the bar exam. It is a digital image that speaks, thinks, and acts. Of course, we haven't yet reached the literal apocalyptic beast, but the technology that would allow this already exists. It is prophecy becoming a technological possibility. And what about those deceptive signs that Jesus mentioned? Today, we have deepfakes that fool even experts. Have you seen those videos where they put one person's face on another? Or make presidents say things they never said? Virtual reality creates entire worlds indistinguishable from the real one. Put on those VR glasses and you swear you're somewhere else. Holograms make dead people appear at concerts. Tupac performed at Coachella years after his death. Michael Jackson danced at an awards ceremony posthumously. Technology creates perfect illusions. Jesus warned that in the last days, there would be signs so convincing that they would deceive, if possible, even the elect. Well, it's already possible to deceive almost everyone. A prophecy of technological illusion. You can no longer trust even your own eyes. Global tracking is already a reality. The apocalypse speaks of a mark on the hand or forehead without which no one can buy or sell. Historically impossible to implement. How to control billions of transactions. But today, easy. Your smartphone tracks your every movement via GPS. Credit cards record every purchase. Facial recognition cameras identify you in crowds. In China, the social credit system monitors citizen behavior and restricts who can buy train or plane tickets. It's total control. There's still no mandatory chip on the hand, although some companies already offer it voluntarily, but the technological infrastructure for it exists. Blockchain and cryptocurrencies allow tracking of every penny. It's impossible to disappear digitally. Prophecy of control becoming technical reality. The technology for the mark of the beast has already been invented. An economy without physical money is a different story. Revelation 13 describes a system where transactions are controlled digitally. Today, physical money is dying. Sweden is practically cashless. Even beggars accept Swish, a payment app. China uses Alipay and WeChat Pay for everything. You go to a store in Brazil and they ask, debit, credit, or Pix. Nobody asks if you want to pay in cash. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin exist only digitally. Central banks are creating official digital currencies. Soon, physical money will be a relic. And notice the implication. If everything is digital, it can be centrally controlled. The government can block your account instantly. Banks can deny transactions. You literally can't buy or sell without digital access. It's exactly the system John described. A digital economic prophecy and total surveillance. The apocalypse suggests that the image sees everything, knows everything. Today, Alexa, Google Home, Siri, devices that listen 24/7 in your home. Officially, they only activate with voice commands, but cases of accidental recordings are frightening. Smart TVs with built-in cameras. Virtual assistants that learn about you by analyzing every search, every click, every purchase. Facebook knows more about you than your own mother. It knows your tastes, fears, desires, political leanings. Google predicts what you're going to search for before you finish typing. It's digital omniscience. The image truly sees and hears everything. Privacy has become an archaic concept. You are constantly being monitored by multiple entities. Big Brother is no longer fiction. It's a streaming service you voluntarily subscribe to, a prophecy of technological omniscience. So, to recap all of this, a nation resurrected after 2 millennia, a dead language revived, a desert blooming, technology exploding, knowledge multiplying, instant global communication, total surveillance, a digital economy, AI making decisions. These are dozens of specific prophecies, written thousands of years ago, being fulfilled in our generation. Some people look at it and see coincidence, others see historical luck. But those who truly study the scriptures see something else. A sovereign God guiding history exactly as he promised, preparing the stage for the final events. And the most incredible thing, these are only the first 30 prophecies. We still have 70 to go. If that doesn't leave you speechless, I don't know what will. The Bible is not a storybook. It's a prophetic journal that you can verify with your own eyes. And the story is far, far from over. Modern medicine seems like science fiction compared to what existed 100 years ago. Isaiah spoke of a time when diseases would simply cease to exist, an era of healing. And look where we've arrived. Robotic surgeries operate with millimeter precision that no human surgeon can achieve. The Da Vinci robot makes microscopic incisions, removes impossible tumors, and saves lives daily. Gene therapy corrects defective DNA. Babies are born with hereditary diseases that are cured before their first birthday. Nanotechnology places tiny robots in the bloodstream attacking cancerous cells. Diseases that were death sentences, tuberculosis, polio, smallpox, have been virtually eradicated. HIV, which killed millions in the 1980s, is now a manageable condition with daily medication. Heart, liver, and kidney transplants are routine. Robotic prostheses allow paraplegics to walk again. It's medicine that seems like a miracle, fulfilling prophetic visions of a world where illness loses its power. And it doesn't stop there. We're living longer and longer. The apocalypse has an enigmatic passage where people seek death but do not find it, a possible reference to the extreme prolongation of life. Today, life expectancy has more than doubled by 150 years. In 1900, we lived an average of 31 years. Today, 73 years globally, 80 plus in developed countries. Japanese people regularly surpass 100 years. Researchers obsessively study longevity. David Sinclair at Harvard researches how to reverse cellular aging. Companies like Google's Calico invest billions seeking a cure for old age. Cryogenics freezes bodies hoping future technology will resurrect people. Billionaires like Jeff Bezos fund immortality research. It's a frantic search for eternal life through science. The prophecy suggests a time when death becomes almost impossible, and we are heading exactly in that direction. Anti-aging medicine promises generations living 120, 150, perhaps 200 years. A prophecy of extreme longevity. But while we seek eternal life, we also create the power of total death. Peter prophesied that elements will melt with fervent heat, and the heavens will pass away with a roar, language that for millennia seemed purely apocalyptic spiritual. Until 1945. Hiroshima and Nagasaki showed that humans now possess the power to disintegrate elements with heat so intense that it literally undoes matter. Nuclear bombs reach temperatures of the solar core, instantly vaporizing everything within a radius of kilometers. Today, there are more than 13,000 nuclear warheads on the planet, enough to destroy humanity multiple times over. Chemical weapons like sarin gas kill in minutes. Biological weapons could release modified viruses decimating populations. Peter saw this in a vision 2,000 years before Einstein. He described nuclear fission exactly, without the vocabulary for it. Elements will melt with fervent heat is a perfect description of an atomic explosion. Humanity has achieved divine power of destruction. A terrifying prophecy fulfilled. And what about genetic manipulation? Genesis mysteriously speaks of the Nephilim, giants, hybrid beings that existed when the sons of God came into the daughters of men. Interpretations vary, but it suggests manipulation of the original creation. Today, scientists freely rewrite genetic code. CRISPR allows you to edit DNA like you edit a Word document, cut, paste, modify specific genes. In China, scientist He Jiankui created genetically modified babies resistant to HIV, causing a global scandal. Cloning produced Dolly the sheep in 1996, then dogs, cats, even primates. Chimeras, organisms part human, part animal, exist in laboratories. Pigs with human cells, monkeys with human genes. They are trying to create human organs in animals for transplantation. It's a very dangerous frontier. We are redesigning humanity at a fundamental level. Genesis warns about times when the limits of creation were transgressed. Are we repeating this pattern? Genetic prophecy becoming a scientific headline. What about alternative realities? Paul warned that Satan disguises himself as an angel of light, creating convincing illusions. Today, billions voluntarily enter fabricated realities. Virtual reality puts on glasses, and you're in another world, climbing Mount Everest, fighting dragons, exploring galaxies. Metaverse promises parallel digital universes where you live, work and socialize through avatars. People spend fortunes on virtual lands, digital clothes for characters. Teenagers spend more time on Fortnite and Roblox than in the real world. Some prefer digital identity to physical. It's a literal escape from reality. And notice, these realities are designed to be addictive, to seem better than real life. Paul spoke of deceptions so seductive that they would lead multitudes astray. Virtual worlds are exactly that, attractive, seductive illusions that compete with the reality created by God. Prophecy of digital illusion. Now we come to the most serious part, wars. Jesus was direct. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars. And man, when isn't there war or rumors of war? The 20th century was by far the bloodiest in human history. World War I killed 20 million. World War II, 70, 85 million, including the Holocaust, which decimated 6 million Jews. Wars in Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf, Afghanistan, Iraq, constant conflicts. The Syrian civil war has killed 500,000 since 2011. Ukraine and Russia have been in total war since 2022. China-Taiwan tensions threaten conflict. Iran and Israel exchange attacks. Every day there is news of conflict somewhere. And rumors, threats, tensions, ultimatums are constant. North Korea tests missiles. China threatens to invade Taiwan. Russia talks about nuclear weapons. We live in a perpetual state of war anxiety. Jesus said this would be a sign of the last days. And here we are, exactly like this. Nation against nation is an even more specific prophecy. Matthew and Mark record Jesus saying this, predicting ethnic and national conflicts. The Middle East perfectly exemplifies this. Israel against Arab nations in 1948, 1956, 1967, and 1973. The Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s killed millions. The Gulf War in 1991. Afghanistan invaded by the US in 2001. Iraq in 2003. The Arab Spring in 2011 destabilized the entire region, Libya, Syria, Egypt, Tunisia. The Yemen war continues since 2014, the Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict, Ethiopia in civil war, Sudan fragmented. It is literally nation against nation. Ethnic, tribal and national conflicts are exploding globally. Hutus against Tutsis in Rwanda killed 800,000 in 100 days. The Balkans were torn apart by ethnic wars in the 1990s. It's a prophetic pattern repeating itself continually. Nation rises against nation exactly as predicted. Kingdom against kingdom speaks of seismic shifts in power, empires falling and rising, and we are witnessing this dramatically. The Soviet Empire, which controlled half of Europe and threatened the world for decades, collapsed in 1991. It simply disintegrated. The Berlin Wall fell. Satellite countries were liberated. China, once agrarian and poor, rose as an economic superpower in 40 years. The United States, the uncontested hegemony after World War II, is now declining in global influence. The British Empire, which ruled a quarter of the planet, has shrunk to a European island. India is emerging as a power. Brazil oscillates between promise and crisis. The European Union tries to unify but faces fragmentation. It is a constant reconfiguration of global power. Kingdoms literally rise and fall before our eyes. The world order is in perpetual flux, unstable. Jesus predicted this instability as a sign of the end times. And what about conflicts over resources? The apocalypse symbolically mentions water turning to blood, interpreted by many as wars over water resources. It has already begun. Conflict between Ethiopia and Egypt over the Nile Dam threatens war. Iraq, Syria, and Turkey are disputing the waters of the Tigris and Euphrates. Aquifers in the Middle East are drying up, causing enormous tensions. Future wars will be fought over drinking water, not oil. Speaking of oil, how many wars have already been fought over it? The invasion of Kuwait, wars in Iraq, interventions in Libya, all over oil. Rare earth elements, essential for electronics, are a new battleground. China controls 80% of production and uses it as a geopolitical weapon. Lithium for batteries is creating a new colonial race in Africa and South America. Future conflicts will be about who controls essential resources. A prophecy of scarcity, generating violence. Global terrorism is another prophecy fulfilled in a terrifying way. The apocalypse speaks of the red horseman who takes peace from the earth, causing people to kill each other. Terrorism does exactly that. No one is safe anywhere. September 11, 2001 changed the world. Twin Towers collapsing live, 3,000 dead, America attacked on its own soil. Al-Qaeda became a household name. Then came ISIS, even more brutal, creating a caliphate in Syria and Iraq, executing hostages in shocking videos. Attacks in Madrid, London, Paris, Brussels, Nice, Manchester, Orlando, San Bernardino. No major city is immune. Airports have become fortresses. You take off your shoes, go through a full-body scanner, you can't bring liquids. Security at concerts, stadiums, public buildings has become necessary paranoia. Peace has truly been taken from the earth. We live in constant alert. A prophecy of global terror. Entire cities being destroyed also happens. The apocalypse speaks of great cities splitting apart and collapsing. We've seen this literally. Aleppo in Syria, a beautiful ancient city, was reduced to rubble. Entire neighborhoods look like post-bomb Hiroshima. Mosul in Iraq, the country's second largest city, was devastated in the war against ISIS. Mariupol in Ukraine, a city of 500,000, was destroyed in 2022. Photos show residential buildings completely razed, like a post-apocalyptic scene. Gaza suffers cyclical destruction. Grozny in Chechnya was demolished twice in wars. Its destruction on an urban scale, something past generations rarely saw but that our generation witnesses regularly in HD. Ancient cities, historical heritage sites, homes of millions, pulverized. It's an urban prophecy of desolation being fulfilled repeatedly. Long-range weapons have completely changed warfare. Apocalypse uses language about falling stars that some interpret as missiles. Today you can be in a bunker in Washington and destroy a target in Tehran without leaving your chair. Predator drones flown from California launch missiles into Afghanistan. Russian hypersonic missiles reach Mach 10, hitting targets before they are detected. Intercontinental ballistic missiles cross oceans in minutes. Israel attacks Iran with drones. Modern warfare has no front lines. You can be hit thousands of miles away. American soldiers operate drones from bases in Texas, returning home for dinner after a day's work killing people on the other side of the world. It's aseptic, distant, prophetically bizarre warfare. Apocalyptic descriptions of destruction from the sky make perfect sense now. Religious and ideological conflicts are exploding globally. Jesus warned, "You will be hated by all nations because of my name." And Christians are today the most persecuted religious group on the planet. In more than 50 countries, Christians face systematic persecution. In North Korea, being a Christian is a death sentence. Concentration camps imprison thousands for their faith. In Iran, conversion to Christianity is punished with imprisonment or execution. Nigeria sees constant massacres of Christians by Boko Haram. China destroys churches and imprisons pastors. Pakistan has blasphemy laws that execute Christians. India faces Hindu violence against Christians. The Middle East has expelled most Christians. Iraq had 1.5 million in 2003, today less than 200,000. It is prophetic persecution happening now. The global church bleeds in silence while the media ignores. Revolutions and uprisings are constant. Luke prophesied tumults in the last days. The Arab Spring in 2011 toppled governments in Tunisia, Egypt, Libya, and Yemen. Protests in Hong Kong paralyzed the city for months. Gilets jaunes, yellow vests, in France. Black Lives Matter in the USA. Massive protests in Chile, Colombia, and Brazil. Sri Lanka stormed the presidential palace. Iran faces constant women's protests. Kazakhstan, Belarus, Myanmar, uprisings everywhere. And social media amplifies everything. A viral video can trigger millions of protests in hours. Governments tremble before connected and mobilized populations. It is prophetic instability on a digital scale. Authorities no longer control narratives. Power is fragmented, volatile. Luke saw this era of turmoil and recorded it. We live in it now. Generational conflict is also prophecy. Malachi ends the Old Testament warning that the hearts of fathers must turn to their children, or God will strike the earth with a curse. Today, the generational gap has never been so brutal. Baby boomers, Generation X, millennials, Generation Z, each with radically different values. Boomers value hard work and institutional loyalty. Millennials prioritize purpose and flexibility. Gen Z questions everything, immersed in technology since birth. Conflicts over marriage, gender, career, religion, and politics divide families. Children don't speak to their parents due to ideological differences. Thanksgiving in the US has become a political battleground for families. Brazil has seen families divided in recent elections. Young people see the elderly as outdated. The elderly see young people as lost. It is a prophetic division between generations, exactly as predicted. Hearts are not turned towards one another. Fragmented families reflect a fragmented society. Political polarization is a related symptom. Jesus said that a house divided against itself cannot stand. Western democracies are dangerously polarized. The United States has never been so divided since the Civil War. Democrats and Republicans live in different factual realities, consume different media, and viscerally hate each other. Brazil has become intensely polarized. France is torn between left and right. The United Kingdom is devastated by Brexit. Germany is seeing a resurgence of the far right. Spain is fragmented. Moderate parties are disappearing. Extremists dominate. No one talks anymore, they just shout. Politics has become tribal identity. Families fight, friendships end because of political differences. This is exactly what Jesus warned. Division leads to collapse. Societies so divided cannot sustain a functional democracy. We see this happening in real time, nation after nation. Economic inequality has also exploded. James prophesied harshly against the rich who exploit the poor, accumulating treasures while workers suffer. And this has never been so extreme. The richest 1% possess more wealth than the remaining 99% combined. Jeff Bezos has a fortune of almost $200 billion, more than the GDP of many countries. Meanwhile, billions live on less than $2 a day. The wage gap between CEOs and average workers has skyrocketed. In the 1950s, it was 21. Today, it is 350.1 in the US. Corporations pay zero taxes while the middle class is crushed. Housing has become inaccessible for young people. University education indebts generations. It's modern feudalism. Billionaires in private jets, masses struggling to pay rent. James saw this injustice coming and prophetically denounced it. The cry of the workers literally reached the ears of the Lord. And judgment is coming. The collapse of institutions is a prophecy from 2 Timothy, a society disintegrating morally and structurally, and we see this clearly. Trust in government is at historic lows. Traditional media has lost credibility, accused of spreading fake news from all sides. Churches face scandals, dwindling attendance, and distrust. Banks lost trust after 2008. The police are constantly questioned. The education system is criticized by everyone. Virtually no traditional institution maintains undisputed moral authority. Each person is their own judge, defines their own truth, and distrusts everything official. It is prophetic institutional fragmentation. Paul predicted that in the last days people would be lovers of themselves, extreme individualists who reject authority. And here we are, in an era where no one trusts anything beyond their own perceptions. It is a collapse of social cohesion. Social chaos is directly related. Paul describes difficult times where people will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, ungrateful, unholy, without natural love, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, brutal, enemies of good. Read this and think, isn't this a perfect description of modern society? Out-of-control urban violence in many cities, Chicago, Philadelphia, Baltimore, have war-zone homicide rates. São Paulo and Rio face organized crime-controlling territories. Mexican cartels are private armies. Some cities are essentially ungovernable. Police abandon entire areas. It's functional anarchy. Paul described exactly this social degeneration, this collapse of order and morality. It's not a temporary crisis, it's a prophesied trend of the last days. Society losing cohesion, descending into chaos. And what about preparation for world government? Revelation 13 speaks of a beast receiving authority over every tribe, language, and nation. For millennia, this seemed impossible. How could anyone govern the entire world? But the infrastructure for it now exists. The UN aims to represent all nations. The IMF and World Bank control the global economy. The World Health Organization coordinated the global COVID response. The International Criminal Court judges international crimes. The European Union is an experiment in supranational sovereignty. There is open talk of a new world order, global governance, global solutions to global problems, climate change, pandemics, terrorism, all used to justify centralized global authority. Technology allows for world control, global internet, international digital currencies, transnational surveillance. The stage is literally set for the prophesied world government. All that's missing is the main actor entering the scene. Hunger is an ancient prophecy that never gets old. Jesus said there would be famines in various places, and despite all the agricultural technology, 828 million people are starving today. The Holodomor in Soviet Ukraine 1932-33 deliberately killed 7 to 10 million through induced famine. The Great Bengal Famine 1943 killed 3 million. Ethiopia faced devastating famines in the 1980s, images of skeletal children shocking the world. Today, Yemen, Somalia, and South Sudan face mass famine. Climate change threatens agricultural production. War in Ukraine disrupted grain exports, threatening global famine. It's a prophetic paradox. We produce enough food to feed 10 billion, but 1 billion go hungry. Logistics, war, politics, and inequality cause artificial scarcity. Jesus predicted this. There is no lack of food, there is a lack of justice, and hunger continues to be a sword that kills millions. Plagues complete the prophetic triad. Matthew, Mark, and Luke record Jesus predicting plagues in the last days. And boy, have the 20th and 21st centuries been devastated by disease. The Spanish flu, 1918, killed 100 million, more than World War I. AIDS emerged in the 1980s and has killed 40 million to date. SARS in 2003 terrorized Asia. H1N1 in 2009 was a global pandemic. Ebola decimated communities in Africa. And then COVID-19 in 2020 paralyzed the entire planet, something never seen before. Billions in lockdown, the global economy collapsing, millions dead, a traumatized society. And new diseases are constantly emerging: Zika virus, Nipah, hemorrhagic fever. Antibiotic resistance threatens to make common infections fatal again. Plague prophecy is not the past, it's a continuous present. Medicine advances, but diseases also evolve. It's an endless prophetic race. COVID specifically deserves highlighting. Revelation 6 speaks of widespread death through plague, affecting a quarter of the earth. COVID officially killed 7 million, but real estimates reach 20+ million. More importantly, it changed civilization. Simultaneous global lockdowns, something never done before in history. The economy plummeted. Schools closed for years. Mandatory masks. Vaccination passports controlling movement. Churches closed by government decree. Imagine first-century Christians hearing this, the government prohibiting worship. Society was divided between pro- and anti-vaccine, masks, and lockdowns. We saw how quickly freedoms can be suspended for the greater good. It was a dress rehearsal for the population control prophesied in Revelation. It demonstrated that governments can, overnight, restrict movement, commerce, and gatherings, exactly the type of control the beast will exert. COVID was a beta test of the system. Insect plagues have also returned. Exodus describes plagues in Egypt. Revelation 9 describes apocalyptic locusts, and they literally came back. In 2020, during COVID, gigantic swarms of locusts invaded East Africa, the Middle East, and Asia, the worst in 70 years. A swarm can contain 80 million locusts, eating enough food for 35,000 people in a single day. They destroyed entire crops, causing famine. In 2024, swarms returned. And it's not just locusts. Mosquitoes transmitting dengue, Zika, and malaria are spreading to regions previously free of them due to climate change. Bedbugs attack global cities. Fruit flies destroy agriculture. It's a modern version of prophetic plague. Small insects causing disproportionate devastation, exactly as prophesied. Earthquakes in various places. Check. Jesus was specific. Not one earthquake, but multiple ones in different locations. And that's exactly the pattern. Earthquake in Turkey and Syria 2023 killed over 50,000 people. Entire cities collapsed. Nepal 2015, 9,000 dead. Kathmandu devastated. Japan 2011. Magnitude 9.1 earthquake caused a tsunami and the Fukushima nuclear disaster. Haiti 2010, 300,000 dead. Port-au-Prince destroyed. The list goes on. Chile, Mexico, Indonesia, New Zealand, and the frequency apparently increases, or we have better detection. The USGS records 12,000, 14,000 earthquakes annually. Most are small, but the large ones are increasingly devastating because the urban population has grown. Jesus said they would be in various places, not concentrated in one region. And that's it. Earthquakes hit America, Asia, Europe, Oceania. It's a prophesied global pattern. Tsunamis, this is a specific kind of terror. Luke prophesied the roaring of the sea and the waves, terror coming from the waters. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami is one of the worst natural disasters on record. A giant wave generated by an underwater earthquake struck 14 countries, killing 230,000, 280,000 people. Videos show walls of water engulfing coastal cities, people running in vain. Japan in 2011, a tsunami entered kilometers inland, destroying everything, causing a nuclear catastrophe. These are unstoppable, inevitable, terrifying waves. Luke described exactly that. A roaring sea, waves causing terror. Coastal populations live with this fear. Warning systems have been created, but when a tsunami comes, there is little to do besides run to higher ground. It is the prophetic fury of the waters. Hurricanes and storms are intensifying. Lucas also mentions storms in recent days, and they are getting worse. Hurricane Katrina 2005 devastated New Orleans, killed 1,800, and caused $125 billion in damages. Harvey 2017 flooded Houston with 1.5 meters of water. Maria 2017 destroyed Puerto Rico, killing 3,000 others. Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines 2013, winds of 315 km/h, 6,000 dead. Cyclone Nargis in Myanmar 2008, 138,000 dead. Storms are becoming more intense, more frequent, and more erratic. Scientists link this to climate change. Warmer oceans fuel larger storms. It's climate prophecy. Increasingly extreme conditions. Tornadoes, typhoons, cyclones, hurricanes, all intensifying. Nature literally roaring, as prophesied. Forest fires consume entire ecosystems. Revelation 8 says, "A third of the trees were burned up and all the green grass was burned up." California now faces catastrophic fires annually. Camp Fire 2018 destroyed the entire town of Paradise, killing 85. Dixie Fire 2021 burned nearly 4,000 kilomsecond. Australia 2019-20. Black Summer burned an area the size of England. Billions of animals died. An apocalyptic red sky. The Amazon burns illegally, losing an area equivalent to entire countries annually. Siberia, Greece, Turkey, Portugal, Canada all face record-breaking fires. It is literally land burning, forests turning to ashes, exactly as prophesied. Smoke crosses continents. San Francisco lies under a dystopian orange sky. It's an ecological apocalypse in slow motion. Prolonged droughts complete the cycle. Apocalypse links famine and scarcity to droughts. And they are getting worse and longer. The Horn of Africa faces its worst drought in 40 years. Somalia, Ethiopia, Kenya, losing crops, livestock dying, millions starving. California faced an epic drought that lasted for years, lakes drying up, rationing. The Paraná River basin in Brazil reached historic lows, affecting hydroelectric power. The Yangtze River in China almost dried up. Europe had such a dry summer in 2022 that rivers revealed stones with warnings of famine from centuries past. It's prophetic drought, water disappearing, land drying up. And this causes famine, conflict, mass migration. Prophecy doesn't happen in isolation. One prophetic problem triggers others. Drought leads to famine, famine to conflict, conflict to death. It's an apocalyptic cascade, and we are seeing piece by piece falling into place. The prophecies are not futuristic. They are today's headlines. Jesus compared the last days to the days of Noah, when a flood inundated the world. And devastating floods are becoming increasingly frequent. Pakistan in 2010 suffered floods that covered a fifth of the entire country, an area the size of England submerged, affecting 20 million people and killing 2,000. Brazil in 2011 saw the mountainous region of Rio devastated by landslides and floods, with almost 1,000 dead. Germany in 2021, floods killed 200 people, something unthinkable in such a developed country. China faces annual floods that displace millions. Mumbai is regularly submerged during monsoons. New York flooded with Hurricane Sandy. It is literal water destroying modern cities, exactly as in the days of Noah. And notice, Jesus did not say there would be another global flood, but that a pattern of destruction by water would return. Floods are localized deluges, each one devastating. It is a water prophecy repeating itself globally. Water, a source of life, becoming an instrument of mass death. Climate change is perhaps the most debated prophecy. Revelation 16 speaks of intense heat burning people, the sun causing torment, and record temperatures are now being broken annually. 2023 was the hottest year ever recorded. July 2024 broke global records. Phoenix, Arizona reached 54 degrees C. India and Pakistan regularly exceed 50 degrees C, killing thousands from heat stroke. Europe faced unprecedented heat waves, 60,000 dead in 2022. Glaciers are melting, polar ice caps are shrinking, Siberian permafrost is thawing, releasing methane. Sea levels are rising, threatening islands and coastal cities. Weather patterns are becoming erratic, deserts are flooding, forests are drying up. Scientists warn, we have passed the point of no return. It is the climatic fulfillment of apocalyptic prophecy. The sun is literally burning with the prophesied intensity, and there is no easy way back. We are warming the planet exactly as described. Air pollution also fulfills prophecy. Revelation mentions smoke filling the air, making it toxic, and billions breathe deadly air daily. Delhi, India is regularly the most polluted city on the planet. Air so dense it looks like toxic fog, zero visibility, schools close. People wear masks permanently. Beijing had such polluted skies that they displayed sunrises on giant screens because nobody could see the real one. Mexico City, Cairo, Dhaka, Lagos, all suffocated. The WHO estimates that 7 million die annually from air pollution. It's more deadly than wars and AIDS combined. Children grow up with damaged lungs, and it's not just industry. Forest fires pollute entire continents. Canadian smoke covered New York in 2023, an apocalyptic orange sky. John literally saw this, air full of smoke, people suffering, atmospheric prophecy fulfilled. we poison our own air. Polluted water completes environmental destruction. Revelation speaks of waters becoming like blood, unfit for consumption, deadly. And rivers and oceans are dying. The Ganges in India is one of the most polluted rivers, religiously sacred but toxically contaminated with sewage, chemicals and corpses. Children swim in it and get sick. The Citarum River in Indonesia is literally covered in plastic waste. It looks more like a landfill than a river. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is larger than Texas, with plastics killing marine life. Aquifers are contaminated by pesticides and heavy metals. Flint, Michigan, had its water poisoned by lead. The government knew and did nothing. Half the world's population does not have access to safe drinking water. It is a deadly water prophecy. Water, essential to life, becoming poison. John saw this symbolically. We live it literally. Species extinction is ecological apocalypse. Apocalypse says that a third of creatures would die. And we are in the 6th mass extinction in Earth's history, the only one caused by humans. Northern white rhinoceroses, extinct. The last male died in 2018. Tigers, 97% of the population disappeared in a century. Elephants slaughtered for ivory. Orangutans losing forests. Coral reefs dying. The Great Barrier Reef has lost half since 1995. Insects, essential pollinators, plummeting 75% in some regions. Birds, amphibians, fish, all declining. Scientists estimate that we are losing 150-200 species daily. That's 1,000 times the natural rate of extinction. It's ecological genocide. We are witnessing the disappearance of divine creation in real time. Prophecy of mass death of creatures is happening. And when ecosystems collapse, we collapse along with them. We are part of the web. Ecological imbalance is the result of all this. Revelation 8 describes nature literally disintegrating, trees burning, waters poisoned, creatures dying, the entire system collapsing, and ecosystems globally are collapsing. The Amazon, the lungs of the world, could turn into a savanna in decades. It's nearing a tipping point where it can no longer regenerate. Desertification is advancing. The Sahara expands annually, swallowing fertile land. Tropical forests are disappearing at alarming rates. Soil is losing fertility due to intensive agriculture. Pollinating insects are disappearing, threatening food production. It's a cascade of collapse. One species disappears, other dependent species collapse, the entire ecosystem crumbles. The prophecy doesn't describe isolated problems, but systemic disintegration. And that's exactly what scientists are warning about. We are not facing separate environmental problems, but systemic ecological collapse. Nature is screaming in agony as prophesied, and we ignore it until it's too late. Now the heavens are also giving signs. Luke and Revelation speak of signs in the sun, moon, and stars. Solar storms are intensifying. Solar eruptions expel plasma that reaches Earth, disrupting satellites and power grids. In 1859, the Carrington solar storm was so intense that auroras were seen in the Caribbean and telegraphs caught fire. If it happened today, it would destroy global digital infrastructure. NASA constantly monitors the sun, alarmed. Sunspots increase and decrease in 11-year cycles, but their behavior is becoming increasingly unpredictable. Luke prophesied signs in the sun that would cause terror, and solar storms can literally shut down modern civilization. Without satellites, GPS, internet communications fail. Imagine an apocalyptic agreement where technology simply stops working. It's a real threat. The sun, a source of life, can also be an instrument of judgment. Fair solar prophecy is pending. The moon also gives signs. Lunar eclipses, especially total ones where the moon turns red, blood moons, happen regularly and have always caused fear. Joel and Revelation explicitly speak of the moon turning blood, and it's not a metaphor. During a total lunar eclipse, sunlight filtered through the Earth's atmosphere projects red tones onto the moon. It literally appears red, bloody. In 2014-2015, we had a tetrad, 4 blood moons in a row, something rare, coinciding with Jewish holidays. 2018 and 2022 had spectacular blood moons. Each time, apocalyptic theories explode. Ancients saw them as omens. Prophets spoke of them as signs of the last days. And they continue to happen, celestial clocks marking prophetic time. It's impossible not to feel a chill seeing a red moon, especially knowing that prophets predicted it as a sign. The heavens are literally announcing something. Stars too. Luke mentions signs in the stars. Revelation speaks of falling stars. Bright comets appear periodically, causing fascination and fear. Neowise in 2020 was visible to the naked eye for weeks. Comet Leonard in 2021 shone intensely. Intense meteor showers, Perseids, Leonids, make the sky rain shooting stars, exactly as John described. Stars fall like figs from a fig tree. Hundreds of meteors per hour during peaks. Distant supernovae are regularly detected by telescopes. And there are rarer events. In 2013, a meteor exploded over Chelyabinsk, Russia. The shockwave shattered windows throughout the city, injuring 1,500 people. It was a warning. The sky can really fall. Asteroids pass frighteningly close to Earth regularly. Prophecy of signs in the stars is not poetic, it's literal. The heavens are active, dynamic, signaling, and everyone can see it. Total solar eclipses are now global events. Luke says there would be visible signs simultaneously for all nations. Before, eclipses were local, seen by those in the shadow. But today, live streaming. The 2017 solar eclipse in the US was seen by billions online. The 2024 eclipse crossing North America was streamed globally. People from Japan to Brazil watched in real time. It's the technological fulfillment of ancient prophecy. A celestial event seen simultaneously by all tribes, languages, and nations. John didn't have the concept of live satellite streaming, but he described exactly that. And eclipses always cause primal dread. The sun literally disappears, day turns to night, temperature drops, animals are confused. It's a humbling reminder. We control nothing. The heavens obey laws we don't write. Celestial prophecy in HD. Blood moons deserve emphasis. Joel was explicit. The sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the coming of the great and terrible day of the Lord. Peter quoted this in Acts. John repeated it in Revelation. It's consistent prophecy throughout Scripture. And blood moons keep happening. Every total lunar eclipse produces one, and they always cause intense reactions. Churches hold vigils, conspiracy theories proliferate, fear increases. Because intuitively we feel this is not normal, it's a sign of something. And prophecy explicitly links to celestial phenomena before Christ's return. We don't know when it will be, but we know that signs are there. The heavens are marking divine timing. And a red moon is a visual marker impossible to ignore. It's as if God were writing in the sky, "Pay attention, something is coming." Celestial visual prophecy. Northern lights in unusual latitudes also occur. In May 2024, a geomagnetic storm was so strong that auroras were seen in absurd places. Mexico, Florida, southern Spain, North Africa. Auroras are normally restricted to polar regions, but sometimes solar storms are so intense that they push auroras to mid-latitudes. It's a beautiful but disturbing phenomenon. Green, purple, red skies dancing. Ancient peoples would have been terrified. And Luke prophesied signs in the sky that confuse and terrify. Out-of-place auroras fulfill this. Imagine a pastor in Mexico seeing a dancing green sky. Without scientific context, it clearly seems supernatural. And even with science, it's disturbing. It's the Earth's magnetosphere being bombarded by the sun. Atmospheric visual prophecy. Skies literally showing unusual things, exactly as predicted. Pillars of light and solar halos are atmospheric optical phenomena. Ice crystals in the atmosphere refract light, creating vertical columns of light, rings around the sun, crosses in the sky. It's science, but it seems like a miracle. Revelation mentions angels with clouds, pillars of light. Of course, the reference is spiritual, but modern atmospheric phenomena echo these descriptions. Pillars of light occur in winter in places like Canada, Russia, and the northern US. Vertical columns of light resembling celestial spotlights. Solar halos make the sun appear to have rings, sometimes multiple rings. Sundogs create 3 suns in the sky. Every time it happens, photos go viral and people are startled. They are rare but natural, and John saw visions full of these celestial images. It's as if God uses creation itself to communicate. The heavens literally signaling through optics. Natural visual prophecy. Comets have always caused apocalyptic terror. The appearance of a bright comet makes theories explode. Neowise in 2020 was spectacular, visible for months. Comet Leonard in 2021. And throughout history, comets have been seen as omens. Halley's Comet appears every 76 years and has always caused panic. Apocalypse describes falling stars and mountains of fire falling into the sea, a possible reference to comet-asteroid impacts, and the threat is real. Asteroids pass close to Earth constantly. NASA tracks thousands classified as potentially hazardous. In 2013, a meteor over Russia exploded with the force of a nuclear bomb. Dinosaurs were wiped out by an asteroid. It could happen again. It's a cosmic sword of Damocles hanging over humanity. The prophecy of falling stars could be literal. And each bright comet reminds us, the sky can attack. We are cosmically vulnerable. Meteor showers are visual prophecies. Stars fall like figs from a shaken fig tree, a perfect description of a meteor shower. During the Leonids, thousands of meteors per hour cross the sky, literally looking like falling stars. The Perseids in August, the Geminids in December. Annual events where the sky rains light. It's spectacular, but also unsettling. John saw it in a vision and described it perfectly without astronomical vocabulary. And whenever there's an intense meteor shower, apocalyptic theories resurface. People intuitively feel this isn't normal. Of course, it's a natural phenomenon, Earth passing through cometary debris, but it seems divine. And prophecy uses celestial language to mark final events. Each meteor shower is a reminder. The heavens are active. Prophecy is alive. The universe participates in the redemptive narrative. All creation groans, awaiting redemption, as Paul said. Unexplained phenomena in the sky spark speculation. Luke speaks of signs and wonders that would confound people, and UFOs, UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, are now officially recognized. The Pentagon admitted in 2020 that there are flying objects that defy known physics, accelerating instantly, changing direction impossible, entering, exiting water. Military pilots have recorded videos. Congressional hearings openly discuss this. Nobody knows what they are. Aliens, secret technology, interdimensional phenomena, demons in disguise, every theory exists. And prophecy warns of deceptive signs in the last days. Whatever they are, they confuse and distract. Billions are fascinated. What if it's a demonic manifestation or deceptive technology preparing humanity for a great illusion? Jesus warned that signs would deceive, if possible, even the elect. UFOs may be part of this strategy. Prophecy of cosmic deception. Global transmission of celestial phenomena fulfills Revelation 11. All tribes, languages, and nations see simultaneously, technologically impossible before. Today, routine. When a solar eclipse happens, billions watch via YouTube, Facebook, NASA TV. When an asteroid passes nearby, live streaming. When intense auroras occur, it's a global trending topic. John saw this without understanding how it would be possible, but he described it. The entire world witnessing events simultaneously. It's prophetic infrastructure in place. When real apocalyptic events begin, 2 witnesses in Jerusalem, supernatural celestial signs, the entire world will watch in real time, on smartphones, tablets, TVs. Prophecy will not only happen, it will be transmitted. And this multiplies the psychological impact. Billions experiencing the same thing at the same time generates collective hysteria. Media prophecy fulfilled. The stage is set. Fear in the hearts of men is also prophecy. Luke said that men will faint from terror seeing signs in the heavens, and panic about asteroids, comets, and impacts is real. Films like Armageddon, Deep Impact, and Don't Look Up explore this. NASA spends millions tracking dangerous asteroids. They even conducted the DART mission in 2022, deliberately colliding a spacecraft with an asteroid to deflect its orbit, a planetary defense test. It's existential fear. Something could fall from the sky and end everything, and we can't do anything. Every asteroid that passes nearby, astronomically speaking, generates alarmist headlines. Theories about Planet X, Nibiru, and killer comets proliferate. It's the exact cosmic terror that Luke predicted. Heavens, once seen as divine wonder, now inspire existential dread. A fulfilled psychological prophecy. Humanity looks up with fear, not adoration. Speculation about the end of the world explodes with every phenomenon. Luke implies that signs in the heavens would generate apocalyptic theories. And man, every cosmic event triggers this. The 2012 Mayan calendar, billions believed the world would end. Planet X Nibiru, a persistent theory of a hidden planet that will collide with Earth. Every eclipse, comet, planetary alignment generates YouTube videos with millions of views. This is the final sign. Most of it is paranoia, but it reveals something profound. Humanity instinctively feels that we are near the end. It's prophetic unease. Paul said that God made all nations from one man, that they should seek God and perhaps reach out for him and find him. Celestial signs make humanity grope, search, question. Prophecy generates speculation. Speculation generates searching. And in this, God is working. Intense study of the heavens also fulfills Daniel's prophecy. Knowledge would multiply, including astronomical knowledge. Humanity has never studied the heavens so intensely. The Hubble telescope revolutionized astronomy. James Webb shows more distant older galaxies. Space agencies, NASA, ESA, China, India, invest billions. Giant ground-based telescopes constantly scan the skies. We track asteroids, exoplanets, black holes, dark matter. We send probes to all planets, even beyond the solar system, Voyager 1 and 2. We landed on a comet. Radio telescopes search for alien signals. Humanity is obsessed with the heavens, exploring, cataloging, understanding. It is the fulfillment of prophetic curiosity. And ironically, the more we discover, the more we realize how little we know. The universe is absurdly large, incomprehensibly complex. It's as if the more we study the heavens, the more we see God's glory, even without recognizing it. Deceptive signs confuse even the wise. Matthew warned about this. And today, with deepfakes, it's impossible to distinguish real from fake. You can see videos of incredible celestial phenomena and not know if they're real or CGI. Viral videos show UFOs, angels, celestial portals. Most are fake, but some appear real. Technology allows the creation of any illusion. It's the technological fulfillment of prophecy about deception. Satan is the father of lies, the master of illusion. And now he has perfect digital tools. He can create false signs and wonders, indistinguishable from real ones. Jesus warned that deception would be so sophisticated that it would deceive, if possible, even the elect. Well, now it's technologically possible. Perfect deepfakes, realistic holograms, augmented reality. When the Antichrist comes with signs and wonders, technology will amplify them. A prophecy of visual deception. Truth becomes impossible to verify, and in this, confusion reigns. Modern society is also fulfilling grim prophecies. Atheism and secularism have exploded. Paul and Peter predicted that in the last days there would be scoffers denying spiritual truths. And Europe, the cradle of Christianity, is now post-Christian. Less than 20% attend church in countries like France, Germany, and the United Kingdom. The Czech Republic is 80% atheist. Scandinavia has massively abandoned faith. America is following the same direction. Nuns, those without religion, are growing rapidly, especially among young people. Universities are bastions of militant atheism. Famous scientists, Dawkins, Krauss, Tyson, publicly ridicule faith. It's the normalization of disbelief. Prophecy doesn't say that everyone will be an atheist, but that atheism would be accepted, prevalent, normal. And it is. Declaring oneself an atheist no longer generates scandal. It generates praise for critical thinking. It's prophesied cultural apostasy. An entire society rejecting God, believing itself enlightened by it. Rejection of the Bible is accelerating even within churches. Paul warned that times would come when they would not tolerate sound doctrine, gathering teachers who would say what they wanted to hear. And that is exactly the scenario. Liberal theology reinterprets Scripture until it is emptied of meaning. Inclusive churches deny sin, embrace everything. Postmodern movements say that your truth is your truth, my truth is my truth. Biblical authority is openly questioned in theological seminaries. Pastors deny miracles, resurrection, the divinity of Christ, hell. They maintain the Christian label but have emptied it of content. It is ecclesiastical apostasy, and masses follow because a message without judgment, without repentance, without the cross is more comfortable. Paul predicted this precisely. Churches that itch their ears instead of preaching truth. And it is happening epidemically. Prophecy of internal apostasy fulfilled. The persecution of Christians is a brutal statistic. Jesus was direct. You will be hated by all nations because of my name, and hatred is global. Open Doors estimates that 360 million Christians face high or extreme persecution. North Korea systematically executes Christians. Nigeria sees constant massacres, Boko Haram, Fulani herdsmen killing Christians by the thousands. Pakistan, Afghanistan, Somalia. Being a Christian is a death risk. China arrests pastors, destroys churches, forces re-education. India witnesses increasing Hindu violence against Christians. The Middle East has expelled the majority of Christians. And Europe, America. Persecution is cultural. Christians dismissed for their convictions, prosecuted for hate speech when quoting the Bible, ridiculed in the media. It is globalized persecution, a fulfilled prophecy. More Christians were martyred in the 20th century than all previous centuries combined. And the 21st century continues the trend. The blood of martyrs still cries out. Apostasy within the church is a prophesied tragedy. Paul and Peter warned, false teachers would arise within the church introducing destructive heresies. And today, televangelists preach the prosperity gospel, Jesus as a celestial ATM machine. Just have faith and give, and God will enrich you. It's heresy that denies the cross, suffering and holiness. Others preach universalism, all saved regardless of religion. Others deny hell and judgment. Megachurches prioritize entertainment over doctrine. Preaching has become motivational self-help. Worship is a secular show with Jesus mentioned occasionally. It's subtle apostasy, maintaining a Christian veneer but denying its power. Paul said they would have a form of godliness but deny its power. It's a perfect description of many modern churches, full, vibrant, spiritually dead. A dark ecclesiastical prophecy being fulfilled weekly in thousands of pulpits. False teachers and prophets are proliferating just as Jesus warned. Matthew 24 is clear. Many false prophets will appear and deceive many people, and billions follow deceivers. Televangelists live in mansions while the faithful grow impoverished. Prophets sell anointed oil, miraculous handkerchiefs, Jordan River water, shameless commerce. Cults multiply, Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, Christian Science, Scientology, each with millions of followers. Self-proclaimed prophets in Africa, Asia, and Latin America make fortunes exploiting the poor. YouTube is full of apostles and prophets making predictions that never come true, and multitudes follow. Why? Peter explains. In their greed, these men will exploit you with false words. It's lucrative, and the masses want easy messages, guaranteed miracles, promised prosperity. False teachers provide them. True prophets are rejected. It's a prophesied reversal. Lies prosper while truth is persecuted. Sexual immorality is completely normalized. Paul predicted that in the last days humanity would be lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, that God would give people over to shameful passions. And we live in a pornified age. Pornography is a silent pandemic. 70% of men watch it regularly. The average age of first exposure is 11. It's destroying brains, marriages, healthy sexuality, but it's normalized, defended as freedom of expression. Promiscuity is celebrated. Virginity is ridiculed. Marriage is redefined. Any arrangement is valid. Gender is fluid. Biology is denied. Children are exposed to explicit sexual content in schools. Drag queens read to children in libraries. It's total moral inversion. What the previous generation called sin, the current generation calls progress. Paul saw this coming, a society so corrupt that it calls evil good and good evil. A prophecy of moral degradation explicitly fulfilled. Rejection of authority is a generational hallmark. Paul said that in the last days, people would be disobedient to parents, ungrateful, unholy. And we see it. Children routinely disrespect their parents. Teenagers don't accept correction. Teachers have lost authority. Students curse, threaten, sometimes assault. Police officers are questioned, disrespected, even attacked. Politicians have minimal approval ratings. Any figure of authority is suspect. Don't tell me what to do is a modern mantra. It's extreme individualism where each person is a law unto themselves, and it results in chaos. Without recognized authority, society fragments, families disintegrate, schools fail, communities collapse. Paul predicted this systematic rejection of authority as a sign of the last days. And it is exactly our era. No one submits to anyone. Everyone does what they think is right in their own eyes, exactly like Israel in the days of the judges before the collapse. Love of money is a modern idol. Paul was explicit. The love of money is the root of all evil, and he prophesied that in the last days, people would be lovers of money. Look around. Materialism is the dominant religion. Success is measured by bank account. Billionaires are idolized. Instagram is a showcase of luxury, generating constant envy. People go into debt buying things they don't need to impress people they don't like. Corruption is endemic because money justifies everything. Children dream of being rich YouTubers or influencers, no longer doctors or teachers. Marriages end because of money. Families fight over inheritance. Churches preach prosperity. Mammon is on the throne. Jesus said that we cannot serve both God and mammon, but multitudes try and mammon always wins. Prophecy of financial idolatry fulfilled. Money has become the functional god of billions, exactly as predicted. Drug epidemic fulfills prophecy of witchcraft. Revelation 9:21 says that in the last days people will not repent of witchcraft. The Greek word is pharmakia, the root of pharmacy, referring to drugs, potions, and altered states of consciousness. And the explosion of substance abuse is apocalyptic. The opioid epidemic in the US kills over 100,000 annually, more than car accidents and gun violence combined. Fentanyl, 50 times more potent than heroin, kills instantly. Methamphetamine destroys entire cities. Cocaine and crack devastate communities. And the legalization of marijuana normalizes recreational use. Alcohol kills millions annually. Controlled medications, anxiolytics, antidepressants are consumed massively, an entire society medicated, and Revelation says they will not regret it. That's exactly what we see. Despite the obvious devastation, use continues, expands, and is defended. A prophecy of collective chemical dependency. Humanity literally drugged, exactly as John predicted, and it refuses to stop, even seeing death all around. It is a dark and tragic fulfillment. From Israel's rebirth to society's self-destruction, from technology exploding to morality collapsing, from the heavens signaling to the earth groaning, each prophecy is being fulfilled before our very eyes. These are not isolated coincidences. It's a converging pattern. Dozens of prophecies written thousands of years ago by different authors, different cultures, different eras, all converging in our generation. The mathematical probabilities of this happening by chance are astronomically impossible. It is a divine signature in history. God is fulfilling His word precisely, methodically, inexorably. And we still have 11 final prophecies, the most intense, the most disturbing. If you're not paying attention yet, you should, because the prophetic clock isn't just ticking, it's accelerating. And each passing day brings us closer to the moment where prophecy becomes total reality, where history reaches its climax planned since the foundation of the world. And you, yes you, are living in that exact moment. It's not an accident, it's divine providence, and what you do with this information will determine your eternity. Technology addiction is a new form of pharmakia. The apocalypse mentions that people would not repent of witchcraft, and besides drugs, this can include any addictive alteration of consciousness. And screens are exactly that. Billions are addicted to smartphones, social media, and video games. Teenagers spend 9+ hours a day on screens. Adults check their phones an average of 96 times a day. It's an uncontrollable compulsion. Social media releases dopamine like cocaine. Each like is a dose. Each notification is a trigger. Technology was deliberately designed to be addictive. Endless scrolling, notifications, autoplay. Former Facebook executives admit they created an addictive monster. And like drugs, it destroys anxiety, depression, ADHD, insomnia, social isolation. But nobody stops. Even knowing it's harmful, we continue. It's exactly what the apocalypse predicted, a collective addiction that generates no remorse. Humanity digitally drugged, enslaved by screens, a dark technological prophecy. And children are exposed earlier and earlier, entire generations growing up addicted from the cradle. It's a silent epidemic. Narcissism has prophetically exploded. Paul said that the last days would feature people lovers of themselves, placing ego above all else. And the selfie era is pure narcissism. Instagram is a showcase of ego, people obsessively documenting every moment, seeking validation through likes. They take 50 photos to post one spontaneous one. Filters distort appearance. Influencers live fabricated lives for the envy of others. It's ego worship disguised as self-expression. Studies show current generations are more narcissistic than any previous one. Participation trophies, student-centered education, the "you are special" message hammered in since childhood has created generations of narcissists. And prophecy predicted this. Lovers of themselves as a characteristic of the last days. This is not a modern critique, it's a biblical diagnosis from 2,000 years ago. Paul saw a society obsessed with itself, incapable of genuinely loving others because it loves only itself. It's an inversion of the greatest commandment. Instead of loving God and neighbor, we love ourselves above all else. A psychological and cultural prophecy perfectly fulfilled. And this leads to love growing cold. Jesus specifically predicted the love of many will grow cold. And it's a cruel paradox of the digital age. We have never been so connected, yet so lonely. Facebook has billions of friends, but loneliness is an epidemic. The United Kingdom created a ministry of loneliness because millions have no one to talk to. Japan has an epidemic of hikikomori, young people who never leave their rooms, living only online. Genuine love, sacrificial, patient, committed, is rare. Relationships are disposable. If it doesn't work out, unmatch and move on. Marriages end over anything. Families communicate by text message even when living together. Neighbors don't know each other. Community has disappeared. It's collective isolation. And Jesus predicted this not for lack of people but for coldness of heart. Hardened hearts, incapable of true love. It's a tragic relational prophecy. Technology connects devices but disconnects souls. And love, the greatest of all commandments, grows cold until it freezes completely. Families are falling apart exactly as prophesied. Jesus said he would come to bring division, that father will be against son and son against father. Malachi warned that the hearts of parents and children need to turn to one another or a curse would come. And families are in total collapse. Divorce rates are over 50% in many countries. Children grow up without fathers, 40% in the US. Paternal abandonment is an epidemic. Intergenerational conflicts ruin family dinners. Politics permanently divides parents and children. Opposing values create insurmountable chasms. Grandparents don't speak to grandchildren because of disagreements about gender, marriage, and religion. Inheritance generates lawsuits between siblings. It's a family civil war. And prophecy predicted this, not as an ideal, but as a consequence of end times where truth divides. Jesus did not come to bring artificial peace, but a sword that separates light from darkness. And when truth collides with lies within families, division is inevitable. It is painful but prophetic. Family, the most fundamental institution, is completely fragmented. Child abuse is a sign of the cruelty of the last days. Paul said that people would be, without natural affection, cruel. And nothing demonstrates this more than the epidemic of child abuse. The WHO estimates that 1 billion children suffer violence annually. 1 billion. Child sexual abuse is a silent pandemic. 1 in 5 girls, 1 in 13 boys are abused. Sex trafficking enslaves millions of children globally. Child pornography is a billion-dollar industry on the dark web. Child labor still enslaves 160 million. Children are soldiers in wars, brides in forced marriages, commodities in human trafficking. It is indescribable evil against the most vulnerable, and society fails systemically to protect them. Churches, schools, families, institutions that should protect are sometimes where abuse happens. Paul predicted this cruelty as a mark of the last days. Civilization is judged by how it treats its vulnerable, and we are failing spectacularly. A prophecy of cruelty against the innocent fulfilled horribly. Violence is epidemic, as Paul predicted. Men will be violent in the last days, he wrote, and the statistics are terrifying. 400,000 plus homicides annually worldwide. Brazil alone has 50,000 plus per year, more than many wars. Mexico City has a higher homicide rate than war zones. Baltimore, Chicago, Detroit look like urban war zones. Domestic violence affects 1 in 3 women globally. Robberies, rapes, assaults are so common that we normalize them. Schools need metal detectors. Mass shootings become routine in the US. Gangs control entire neighborhoods. Mexican cartels publicly decapitate people. It's savage brutality. And it's not just crime. Violence permeates culture. Movies, games, music glorify violence. Children grow up saturated with brutal images. Paul saw this coming. A society so violent that brutality becomes normal. It's prophetic desensitization. The human heart without God descends into savagery. The veneer of civilization is thin. Below there is barbarity, and it is emerging. But there is glorious hope. Jesus promised, "This gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come." And it's happening. The Bible has been translated into 3,500 plus languages, reaching 95% of the population. Missionary organizations reach the most remote tribes. Radio, TV, and the internet transmit the gospel globally. The Jesus film has been seen by billions in hundreds of languages. Bible apps have billions of downloads. YouVersion has 600 plus million users. Christians exist in virtually every country. China has 100 plus million Christians despite persecution. Africa has 600 plus million. Latin America is predominantly Christian. Oceania, Asia, even the Middle East have growing Christian communities. It's a prophetic explosion of the gospel, and Jesus connected this to the end. When every nation hears, the end will come. We are in the first generation where this is technically possible. Evangelistic prophecy being fulfilled. The Great Commission almost complete. And that means we are close. Messianic Jews in Israel are a powerful prophecy. Paul wrote in Romans that Israel would experience partial hardening until the fullness of the Gentiles came in. Then all Israel will be saved. And the growth of Israeli Jews believing in Jesus is a modern phenomenon. Before 1948, it was practically non-existent. But since the restoration of Israel, the movement has exploded. Today, estimates range from 20,000 to 30,000 Messianic Jews in Israel, with congregations in all major cities. Growth is exponential. More Jews have come to Christ in the last 70 years than in the previous 900. There are Messianic synagogues, ministries, even political parties. Young Israelis are discovering Yeshua, Jesus, and genuinely embracing the faith. It's a prophetic return, Jewish people recognizing the Messiah they rejected 2,000 years ago. Paul saw this coming. God did not abandon Israel, only paused for Gentiles to enter. Then he will turn his attention to them. And it's happening now, a prophecy of spiritual restoration for Israel, not just geographical restoration. It is both moving and prophetic. The mass entry of Gentiles is also prophecy. Paul explained what a mystery hidden for centuries it was. Gentiles would be co-heirs of the promise through Christ. And today, the overwhelming majority of Christians are Gentiles. Of 2.4 billion Christians, less than 15 million are Jewish. Africa has more Christians than Europe. China has more Christians than any European country. The Philippines, Brazil, Mexico, South Korea, Gentile nations that are massively Christian. This is exactly what Paul predicted. During the hardening of Israel, Gentiles will enter. It is the church age, predominantly Gentile. And Paul connected this to prophetic chronology. The fullness of the Gentiles must enter before Israel is spiritually restored. We are in that phase. Billions of Gentiles have embraced the Jewish Messiah. It's a beautiful inversion. Israel gave the Messiah to the world. The world accepted him. Now it awaits Israel to accept him. It is a prophetic plan in unfolding. The history of redemption advances methodically through the millennia, exactly as prophesied. And we are seeing it. Signs are converging apocalyptically. Jesus listed signs, wars, famines, earthquakes, persecution, false prophets, the gospel preached globally. And he said, when you see all these things, know that it is near, at the very gates. All of them. Not one or two, all simultaneously. And it's exactly our generation. No previous generation saw all these prophecies converging. Israel didn't exist. Technology didn't exist. Global communication didn't exist. But now, all 100 prophecies are happening at the same time. It's a statistically impossible convergence by chance. It's a divine signature shouting, "Attention, the time is near." Jesus used the analogy of the fig tree. When it sprouts, summer is near. Israel is that fig tree. It sprouted in 1948. And Jesus said, "This generation will not pass away until all these things have happened." A biblical generation is generally 70-80 years, Psalm 90:10. We are in 2024-2025. Do the math. I'm not setting a date, but the signs are screaming. We are in the prophetic window. It's time to wake up. And it culminates gloriously. Jesus promised to return. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of the sky with power and great glory. It's not a sad end, it's a glorious beginning. Revelation ends not with destruction, but with restoration. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. God will wipe away every tear. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. This is final prophecy. We are not walking towards a hopeless apocalypse. We are walking towards total restoration. Jesus returns to fix everything we have broken. He will establish an eternal kingdom of justice, peace, and joy. Nature will be restored, bodies resurrected, perfect relationships, communion with God face to face. It is glorious hope that sustains through the current darkness. Yes, the world is falling apart, but it is labor pains, not the end. A new era is born, and each fulfilled prophecy brings us closer to that glorious day. Maranatha. Come, Lord Jesus, thank you for walking with me through these 100 impressive prophecies that testify to the faithful fulfillment of God's word. May this journey have strengthened your faith and prepared your heart. Sleep peacefully knowing that he who promised is faithful. Until next time, may God bless your night with deep rest and renewed hope.